Andy, you are the problem. Welcome to C2, where I review my favorite shows, podcasts, posts, and everything else I see that needs to be talked about. Today, we're breaking down season 8, episode 6 of Sistas, titled Web of Deceit. Jordan and Penelope confronts Andy, so Andy was on some. What I need from you is understanding. And Penelope was on some, it's about to be a girl fight. Somebody check on Andy. Your girl needs some ice after that slap. So Andy thought she was dealing with one of her male pursuits. But that damsel in distress role didn't work on Penelope because Penelope's response was to slap some understanding into her. Now, look, I don't condone violence, but I was hoping that the slap would wake Andy up. And it did, a little, because Andy went from, oh my gosh, what is going on, to taking off her earrings. You saw how Andy was trying to get back at Penelope. I was like, okay, Andy, I see you got a little Angie in there. But look, Penelope didn't come to play. Jacket, earrings, and shoes off. Penelope was ready to throw them hands today. And if I'm honest, I was riding with Penelope. Well, that is until she started blaming Andy for everything and not taking any accountability. Yes, the Penelope who was eventually told how scary Gary is, but still took it upon her pregnant self to go confront him alone. Really, Penelope? I was rocking with you. But girl, you gotta own that one. Andy did try to tell you to leave town and go into protective custody. So Penelope, who we found out in this episode, has left protective custody. When exactly? We don't know. Thinks that Andy was in on everything with Gary. At first, I thought Penelope was being naive as per usual. But as she explained everything, after having a lot of time to think, I realized that she is downright delusional. Penelope is actually accusing Andy of trying to break up her and Gary. She thinks this was some jealous ex situation. So Andy did all of this to get Gary to marry her. Gary, the man who Penelope said herself she caught him sniffing Andy's secrets. The man put hands on her and is the sole reason why she lost their baby. The man that she had information accusing him of unaliving another woman. The one the FBI was investigating. Like Andy said, is that all you came up with after thinking? Really? If the objective is to make both of these women, Andy and Penelope, look stupid, bravo. Penelope actually tried to blame Andy for the loss of her baby. No, Penelope. Pick someone else. Andy tried to save you and that baby. You made the mistake of confronting Gary instead of protecting yourself and your baby. The truth hurts, but I guess taking it out on Andy's face is easing her pain. As Penelope is accusing Andy of being an accomplice, I was wondering, why isn't Andy coming clean about the blackmail? Otherwise, it would appear that she was in cahoots with Gary. It wasn't until both Penelope and Jordan pushed for the truth that Andy revealed what really went down. But Andy, it's too late. I mean, Andy, you took the entire scene, no episode, to come out with the truth. You are looking really sus right now. Is Andy at fault? After thinking about it, I was like, yo, how much of this is Andy's fault? She plays the victim so well, you start to overlook her mistakes. I'm starting to see what Hudson was saying about Andy. When it comes to Jordan, Andy played a part in ruining the guy's life. Despite all that Andy knew about Gary, this chick was hosting him in the house Gary brought her. Like everything was normal. Really? Make it make sense. Penelope and Jordan didn't really know scary Gary, but Andy did. Andy invited them over, acting like everything was all good. Then later tells Penelope that Gary is this potential murderer and he's dangerous. Andy, you looking real sus. But we all know that Andy is just not that bright when it comes to men. Like her deciding that she could protect another grown man. Really? Andy. What you actually did is made things worse for Jordan and protected Gary. While I don't think Andy is to blame for Penelope losing the baby, I do think that her not coming clean in the very beginning about scary Gary was a part of the problem. Her not letting Jordan know that Gary was coming for his political career was not the best move at all. Jordan wouldn't have taken Gary's funny money. So in this episode, we learned that Jordan was questioned by the FBI and obviously he was released. So we can assume there wasn't enough evidence for an arrest, or at least not yet. But that wasn't enough to save Jordan's political career, as we found out that Jordan was dropped. And is no longer a candidate for councilman. But did you catch what Penelope said as she was dropping accusations and threats? She accused Andy of possibly pointing the FBI in Jordan's direction. Then she said that both Gary and Andy would get what they deserve and that it's already in motion. So what is she talking about? Even though we don't know who tried to unalive Gary twice, it looks like Andy is being set up to take the fall. Karen and Pam, and now Marie is dealing with an unhappy scam artist, customer. So in this episode, we finally find out that roots to riches, wreck your edges, roots to riches, wreck your edges, was all a scheme to extort money. A bad one at that. Back at the salon, Mrs. Marie is demanding answers that Pam just doesn't have. Of course, Pam didn't test those ingredients before bottling and selling. Wrong show. But at least Mrs. Marie not only has money, but also brains. That's something these ladies are lacking half the time. And just in case y'all forgot, Mrs. Marie reminded us that she is about that life. When she told Karen and Pam that she will snatch all the edges out of their head. Speaking of being about that life, did y'all see the look on Karen's mom's face? To be continued. Relationship drama. Here we go, Sabrina. Not only are you dealing with drama at work due to your bestie, now you have drama with your man due to your other bestie. But this time it's not on Danny. I know Brina didn't intentionally turn Rich down to go to lunch with Danny, but Rich was all up in his feels about it. Sabrina, I get it. Fix things with your man, but you know that insecurity is running deep. I'm not saying you need to check Rich in public, but you definitely need to have a convo in private. Because as I recalled, you had a donor and didn't need to beg Rich. I need Rich to put more protein in those smoothies. Danny, on the other hand, has to eat and chew on her anger slow before she spits it out. If only Tony could hear me telling him to run. Tony, Danny didn't believe you when you told her that you don't want to control her. You thought you were helping, but dude, she doesn't want your help. This is starting to get old. So after all the arguing in public, embarrassing themselves, Danny decided to leave. Rich and Sabrina convinced Tony to go make sure she is safe. At least Sabrina and Rich seem to have an understanding. One thing I'm starting to realize is that Rich is a threat to this sister circle. This ain't over. Danny is going to bring up what Rich said about members, or shall I say one member of the circle later. They will be coming for him, but something tells me Rich can handle them. Zach at home. Obviously, Zach has nowhere to be these days. After being a listening ear for Faye Team's workplace drama, Zach goes into full daddy mode, which I love how this character has evolved on the show. The stereotype still follows him like a shadow, but you can see Zach making strides, especially compared to the other characters. After returning home with Michael from a school conference, Michael said his first words, nuggets. I love the positive image portrayed in this scene. I need more of this and less baby daddy drama. Too bad Mama Tima may not be around for these moments if Robin has anything to do with it. Oh yeah, I haven't gotten to that part yet. At the law office, Hayden is busy being Hayden at the office. Who else is he gonna be? Now he has Fatima running to Robin of all people for help. So I guess she is so fed up with Hayden's shenanigans that she decides to snitch to Robin. What? Snitching is snitching. She lets Robin know exactly what Hayden has been up to all this time. No, Fatima, girl, you know you can't trust Robin. Wasn't you just trying to warn Andy about Robin? And just like that, y'all, Robin might be setting Fatima up to take the fall. Sherlock homegirl and what son needs to get on the job fast, or they both will be singing, I got locked up, won't let me out. theories. So I think that Hudson is in on the second attempt on Gary, but was it to take Gary out or to set up Andy up? And after Penelope revealed that a plan is in motion, I'm just wondering if she is in on it. The big question is, where does Penelope fit into the plan? Apparently, she wasn't questioned for the first attempt, even though she threatened Gary's life when Andy came to see her in FBI custody. So maybe she was still in custody during the first attempt. However, what about the second attempt? I have to say Penelope's anger towards Andy is a little much. If she saw Andy at the hospital, when she was there to make the second attempt on Gary, maybe she saw Andy acting like she cared for Gary. Like Andy said, Penelope is not acting like herself. Or maybe it was Jordan at the hospital. We also have Jordan, who we found out has lost everything. Either way, the sibling duo have the biggest motive to take Gary out. It's too bad Robin is focused on Fatima instead. Now the question is, why is Robin fixated on Fatima? Is it because he actually thinks she did it, or is it to get her out of his way? Either way, it looks like Andy is being set up. We see a preview for next week with Agent Watts showing up at Andy's penthouse. We also see Andy getting really close to Robin. I can't with Andy. So what's next? Well, it looks like the FBI might have built a stronger case against Andy thanks to Hudson and maybe Penelope and Jordan. But it will be interesting to see if Robin is able to push his narrative and how that will play out. But Robin, there is one little thing. Zach is Fatima's alibi during the time of the first attempt. It also looks like the FBI has been informed of the second attempt on Gary. Now, the question is, will they consider that there may be two different suspects? I think they are looking to double down on Andy, since Andy is the only one that was at both locations during the attempts. But so was Hudson. So why isn't Robin looking into Hudson? What was your favorite scene in episode 6? For me, it was Zach and Michael. It was refreshing to watch, even though I know it's a scripted show. Positive father-son relationships happens every day and should be displayed on the shows we watch as well. I mean, that's just my opinion. What do you think about Robin's allegations? Do you think Fatima did it? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.